Today in Make and Drink, we're making 3 margaritas, 2 relatively classic margaritas, and one that you've probably not had before because I haven't had it until just today. Now, the history of the most popular cocktail in the world, or at least the most popular cocktail in the United States, is actually a mystery. It most likely dates back to the 1930s and is a variation of a daisy drink, which is a family of cocktails where you get your sweetness from a liqueur. Now, the first margarita we're gonna make is just a standard margarita, and I think if you ask most bartenders or most people who are really into margaritas, this is generally the recipe that they go with. You can start by building this in your small shaker tin with 1 ounce of lime juice, 1 ounce of Cointreau, and 2 ounces of a Tequilla Blanco. And I'm gonna use my favorite tequila for margaritas, which is Lalo. Now, optionally, if you wanna omit the salted rim, you could take just a little bit of a saline solution, just 2 drops or so, add a little saltiness to your drink, or just a light pinch of salt. I'm gonna shake it for 15 to 20 seconds. Garnish is unnecessary, but nice little wheel right on top of your ice. There you go, the greatest cocktail ever invented. Just a regular, standard margarita. You get the bite from your lime juice. The orange and the Cointreau just plays off really nicely with your lime juice and your tequila. And what I love about this sort of basic recipe is even though you have an ounce of Cointreau and an ounce of lime juice, you can still taste the tequila. So the tequila that you're using will make a big difference. And I'm not someone who likes to sip on tequila or really any hard alcohol just by itself. But when you put a high quality tequila that you like inside of a margarita with a simple recipe like this, you will be able to taste that tequila and you'll be able to tell the difference between a good tequila and a bad tequila. So if you are using Cointreau, Cointreau is pretty dry and you may want to sweeten this with a little bit of agave. Oftentimes I like to do about 1/4 of an ounce of agave to this recipe, but it's not needed. It's just if you want a little bit more sweetness. So there you have it, standard margarita. All right, next up we're gonna make Tommy's Margarita. Now this version of the margarita was first created in 1990 by Julio Bermejo at the restaurant named Tommy's Mexican Restaurant in San Francisco. Now, since 1990, this recipe has become a staple across all margarita recipes, and the main difference here from a standard margarita is we're gonna sub out our orange liqueur, and instead we're gonna use just agave as our sweetener. And while today it may seem like a no-brainer to be using agave instead of a liqueur or a simple syrup, 30 years ago, agave was not as common as it is today. You couldn't just go to the grocery store or a CVS and pick up a bottle of agave. In 1990, it was more rare. So we're gonna build this one in our shaker and go 1/2 ounce of an agave syrup, 1 ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice, 2 ounces of a Reposado tequila. And shake it for 15 to 20 seconds. There you go, Tommy's Margarita. So Tommy's is known for their fine selection of tequilas, and if you love tequila and you really want to make sure that you taste the tequila, Tommy's Margarita is a great recipe because you're getting the sweetness from the agave, you're getting the bite from the lime juice, but you're not diluting those flavors with something like an orange liqueur or a curacao. You're really just getting the sweetness, the lime juice, and your tequila. So if you love tequila and you love margaritas, this is a great option to really help that tequila shine through. All right, next up, we're gonna make a drink called the 50/50 Margarita, and there's a good chance you've never had this one. I've never had this one, and I hadn't heard about it till recently. It was created in the last couple years by Natasha Bermudez, and this one is different because instead of just tequila, we're gonna be using sherry. Manzanilla Sherry is a very dry sherry, and I happen to have a bottle open from previous cocktails that I was making, so I thought this would be a great chance to try it in something new. Now, first up, this calls for a Tajin Rim. When I'm doing a rim, whether it's Tajin or salt, I don't like to do the whole thing because oftentimes I don't want salt. So some people don't like salt, so you could salt half of it or just a quarter of it for this one. I'm just going to put some Tajin on about a quarter of it. Set our glass aside. We're going to shake this one as well, so start with your small shaker tin with a 1/4 ounce of agave, 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice, 1/2 ounce of Cointreau, 1 ounce of our Manzanilla Sherry. And no tequila in this one. We are going to be using mezcal. 1 ounce of mezcal. Some ice to our large tin. And shake it for 15 to 20 seconds. Now, I don't always believe that you need to put fresh ice in a margarita. I often like to use what's inside the tin, so we're gonna do it with this one. But if you have any big cubes in there, you do wanna be careful because you're gonna make a mess. So there you go, the 50/50 Margarita, half mezcal, half Manzanilla Sherry. I really have absolutely no idea what this is gonna taste like. This is wonderful. This is such a unique drink. The Manzanilla Sherry adds just such a different departure from other margaritas. And then I was a little worried to have a full ounce of mezcal. While I appreciate mezcal, it is not my favorite. It can overpower drinks easily, but the sherry is coming through. I can still get the lime juice and the sweetness from the agave. There are a couple drinks that I would consider gateways to mezcal for someone who maybe doesn't know if they like mezcal. They're not into the smokiness. One of them is a Oaxaca Old Fashioned. The other one is this one right here. And this is a surprisingly delicious departure from a traditional margarita and something that you should check out. All right, there you go. 3 margarita recipes, including a traditional standard margarita, Tommy's margarita, and a new take, the 50/50 Margarita using sherry and mezcal. Now, this is my favorite drink. It is not the first time I've made it here. It's not the last time I'll make it here. So go out and try these margaritas if you haven't already. Give Tommy's a shot to really highlight your tequila. And if you really want to try to get into something new and different, try the 50/50 with the sherry and the mezcal. It is surprisingly delicious and a drink that I think will surprise you. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Otherwise, see you in the next one.